Hello, 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 check, test. Everyone, it's about 4:30. I would like to ask you at this time to please find a seat so we can get this sucker started roughly on time. Thank you. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and get started now. Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see everyone again. My name's Clint Often, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 28th University of Mary Washington Athletic Hall of Fame induction banquet. Yes. We have an amazing array of talent spanning decades of greatness being recognized today, and we hope our efforts in recognizing the accomplishments of the inductees approaches the outstanding level of achievements that they gave us at Mary Washington in their amazing careers. As has become standard practice for events such as these, I'd like everyone to take out their phones. But wait, don't silence them just yet. I'd like everyone to get on their favorite social media app and be sure to follow UMW Athletics if you don't already. That's at UMW Athletics. Hey, I have a captured audience. Why not boost our followers? Okay, you can now silence those phones and get your camera settings ready to snap some pictures. And Chris, you can unlock the back doors now. I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee, Patrick Catullo, Todd Helbling, Dina Appleberry, Mark Thaden, Dan Beverly, and Dan Duprat, who are both with us tonight, for selecting another outstanding class and for the support this event from Lauren Bass and Patrick Catullo. I'd like to thank Leslie Jacobs and the folks at Sodexo for the food and drinks we've had. Ryan Emery at the University Center for setting up this room in such a nice way. Cameron Wills and River Boulay on AV. And Chris Hirons for all they've done and are doing this event as well. Finally, a special thank you. Where did she go? 2 days ago, emergencies pop up for this thing like in the most random ways. And for 6 months, I had a photographer for this event, a part-time person who helps out all the time. And on Thursday, with the storms that we had, her dog kind of mauled her, and she had to go to the ER and had nerve damage in her wrist, and she was all messed up. So as of yesterday morning, I didn't have a photographer for this event. I called Karen Perlman in the back of the room, Mary Wash alumnus. Karen is a fantastic photographer in the area. She does weddings, and she's just wonderful. But In 1996, 1997, my first 2 years at Mary Washington, she was actually my student photographer. So everything's come full circle tonight. I think I was 12 years old and she was 8, 9 years old at the time, something like that. Karen, thank you so much. At this time, I'd like all of the returning Hall of Famers to stand, as well as this year's inductees. All right, keep standing. Keep standing as I read this. The University of Mary Washington was founded in 1908. The University of Mary Washington was founded in 1908, just a few years before I was hired here, as the state normal and industrial school for women. Physical activity has been present on campus from the beginning, with a major move to intercollegiate status starting in 1971. Since that time, there have been, and you guys know me, you know stats. There have been 969 teams on varsity with over 19,000 student athletes. Of those 19,000 plus student athletes, there are a grand total of 160 that have been inducted into the UMW Athletic Hall of Fame, including everyone you see standing. That is a percentage of 0.8% of Hall of Famers named that have competed here on the varsity level from everyone who's suited up to compete at Mary Washington through time. In addition, of the 969 teams that have competed here on the varsity level, only 12 teams have been selected for induction for their national acclaim. That is truly incredible. Let's give a big round of applause to these inductees among greatness tonight. Okay, you can sit down now, Evan. Boy, you're sat in the wrong spot. Looking at this class of inductees that span 4 decades of excellence in such a varied way in sports, such as different as baseball, tennis, water polo, and swimming, and that's just Evan Stiles. You'd think it would be hard to find something in common among them, but surprisingly, that wasn't much of a task, knowing all the inductees as I've gotten to do. Every one of the inductees share a few characteristics which will become evident, I think, when we talk about each of them. Although they competed in the pool, on the courts, and on the fields, each and every one of these folks share the following traits that I think all of us should aspire to. Number one, they are humble. If you sat and talked with any of the inductees for a time, you'd never know how amazing their accomplishments were and what superstars they are. In fact, if you can get them to talk at all, it's usually about their team's accomplishments and successes and the friendships and bonds that they cherish. Number two, they're incredibly hard workers and lead by example. And number three, they kick butt. I really had a fun time accumulating the combined win-loss records of the individual inductees, and it's my shocked honor to tell you that the combined team records in contests that Amy, Becky, Kat, Evan, and Evan participated in is 316 wins, which is, I believe, the highest total of any induction class ever. Then I added in the 25-6 record of the men's basketball team, and the final total is 341 wins and a 671 winning percentage. Oh, and among tonight's group, Mary Washington was represented in 14 NCAA tournaments, winning 16 games. All right, now comes the fun part. Our first inductee tonight is Amy Carlson. Woo, Amy. Amy put forth one of the greatest swimming careers in the storied history of the program, gaining an astounding 11 All-America performances and taking CAC Rookie of the Year in 2004 and Swimmer of the Year honors in 2006. She gained All-America honors in the 100-yard butterfly, finishing 6th at the NCAA championships. She had the fastest 50-yard fly relay split in all of NCAA Division III. In addition, she gained All-America honors in the 200 free relay, 400 free relay, 800 free relay, 200 medley relay, and 400 medley relay. In 2007, she gained All-America honors in the 100 fly, where she finished 4th at the NCAAs, and as well as on the 200 free, 400 free, 800 free, and 400 medley relay, which finished 8th. I know what you're thinking, but Clint, I thought she was a butterfly specialist. Yes, she was an All-America as part of 6 different freestyle relays as a butterfly expert in 3 different distances. That's ridiculous. Upon graduation, she held 8 UMW and CAC records in the 100 fly, the 200 medley relay, 400 medley relay. You get the idea. She vaulted the Eagles to 4 conference championships and 2 top 25 finishes at the NCAA championships. I asked her coach, Matt Kinney, about Amy, and he eventually had the following to share. Matt and I joke back and forth about these all the time. Hello from Pittsburgh to all the inductees, special guests, families, friends, and faculty. I'm sorry I couldn't make it over to Fredericksburg to honor Amy in the incredible Hall of Fame class for 2025 on this fantastic and well-deserved honor. But know that I am there in spirit and thought, proud as can be for this wonderful recognition of her impact at Mary Washington and the swimming program. I will try to keep this brief and not include too many jokes, as Clint was probably hilarious at lunch today, but will run out of humor right before the banquet begins. And for that, I'm sorry for all of you in attendance. Insert laugh track. No, I didn't have to insert a laugh track. Anyway, he said I'm reusing it because it never gets old. Speaking of humor, those of you who know Amy know what a wonderful spirit and constant source of joy she's been throughout her life. A surprise on so many levels, Amy added many unique perspectives to the team during her time there and made such a profound impact on the success of the program moving forward. A stellar talent in the pool that I'm sure Clint has covered statistically, NCAA All-American Awards, school records, top times, etc. I think some of my favorite memories from Amy were the interactions related to practices, training trips, and traveling at NCAAs, especially in her senior year. From telling me she would eventually make a leather coat out of me after specifically sunny Miami training trip, to being part of the 8 Below crew in Minnesota, sobbing the day before NCAAs began, and rolling into prelims every morning listening to The Sweet Escape by Gwen Stefani. Things are always more interesting and light when Amy is around. Her unique humor didn't outshine her competitive spirit, and for that trait I'm especially proud. She accomplished much during her time at Mary Washington, allowing for program firsts, top 8 finishes for relays, and a future that continues to burn bright in large part from her impact and that 2007 class contributions. Thank you, Amy. Here we go. Clint's going to start crying. Thank you, Amy, for always showing these amazing qualities and sharing them so readily with others. You really were so much fun to coach, and it was my honor to be a part of your college process. Congrats again on this wonderful evening, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. I'm so honored to welcome to the podium the newest member of the UMW Athletic Hall of Fame from the women's swim team, 11-time All-American Amy Carlson.
I didn't prepare anything, so you guys are in for a wild ride, I think. It was nice to hear all that stuff from Coach Kinney. He didn't answer my text messages. I didn't think he remembered who I was. So maybe you wrote all that. I'm not sure. Thanks so much for putting on this event. First of all, I think this is glorious. It's a great excuse for me to come to Virginia. I actually live in Georgia now. And I love coming back here. It's beautiful. I get out of the airport, I take a deep breath, or at least this is what I did yesterday when we arrived, and I say, it smells like Virginia. And then I realized that I was in the area where all the smokers had been banished, which is also, I guess, Virginia. You know, it's a big tobacco state. But it's wonderful to be back on campus also. It is very polished here. I don't know if I'm just reaching a geriatric stage or what, but the way I remembered it is like you're walking uphill both ways trying to get to class with like no shoes and 3 feet of snow. And it's very beautiful. Like everything is new and like, was this room always here? Yeah. And I went to the pool like 9 years ago. Justin took me there, and the scoreboard, or I'm sorry, not the scoreboard, the record board, thank you, that's the word. It was all like new and shiny and like printed up. When we were here, you had the letters that like someone would break a record and you like pull down all the letters and then you'd like put up the new letters. Like, you know, at McDonald's when they're trying to advertise for like the price of a burger. And sometimes I think we would run out of letters because definitely when I started my freshman year, Craddock, Brian that is, there were like, I think a third of our men's team was named Brian, so we didn't ever use that name. So we called him Craddock. His last name was Craddock. He had a record. We didn't have any D's. So we used P's like upside down to make it look like lowercase d's. And for years, my roommate would call him Crappick. And it was like that the entire time I was here. When I graduated, we still had the upside down P's for Craddock's name. So, you know, I didn't hear any complaints from him. But I guess I'll say, I won't take too long, I'll say thanks to a bunch of people. It was great to swim here. We had an amazing team. It was an amazing group of people, my class in particular. We have Trish and Dale here, which is awesome. And the coaching was amazing, despite some of the jokes we were making earlier during cocktail hour about the choice vocabulary that came out when Coach got frustrated. It was just a fantastic experience. It taught me a lot that I think were good life skills, you know, like time management. When you spend, I don't know, like 20 hours a week at the pool, better organize your time well, or else you're not sleeping or you're missing class. I think just in terms of being on a really cohesive team, you learn how to work with a lot of different personality types. I think both of those skills have served me well with my career in business since then. So I'm really grateful for having had the opportunity to learn skills like that with such a great group of people. So I'll say thanks to my teammates, thanks to my coach, thanks to the Hall of Fame committee, which I thought was just Clint, but I've met some others now and I heard some names, so I know there are more of you. Thanks to all of you guys. I'll say thank you to my parents who are here in the audience because they were very supportive the entire time I was here. I went to the Mary Washington House earlier today, which I had never been to, but I hear it's been there for a while. And they told us as we were leaving that one of the last times George Washington saw his mother, he asked for her blessing in some venture that he was going to undertake. And she said to him, "Go wherever God takes you, and wherever that is, know that you always have your mother's blessing." And I would say that definitely is also representative of how, like the sentiment I get from my parents during college, since then, before then. So they've always been super supportive, and I'm very grateful for that. And lastly, I'll say thank you to my husband. I didn't know him when I was swimming here, but I will just say that no one was more excited about this event than my husband. I told him, it's exciting, I don't really know what it means, and he said, well, you see, the NBA has a Hall of Fame, and it's a huge deal. That's exactly what we're going to here. I'm like Kobe Bryant. I've made it. And he explained that Mary Washington's been around for more than 100 years. It's not going anywhere. In 500 years, our children's children, like so on, they're going to come back here just to see my name at this very impressive Hall of Fame wall, or I don't know where this goes. Okay. So they're going to come see that in 500 years because it's a big deal. So I hope everyone feels equally as proud. And I'll just say thanks so much to my husband for explaining that to me.
I'll be here in 500 years, and I'll tell your children's children all about you. And just for the record, the NBA Hall of Fame has a cash bar, not an open bar. So. Our next inductee hails from the men's basketball team, Evan Fowler. Evan had the tall task of playing point guard for a head coach that was a former decorated point guard himself in Coach Wood. It takes a special kind of leader that can handle not only leading the team as the games progressed through his eyes, but also through the eyes of his coach. Evan's career coincided with the first great era in Mary Washington history. He was a 4-year starter, and by the time he was a junior, he led the team that finished 24-5, won the Capital Athletic Conference Championship, and advanced to the NCAA Tournament for the first time. By the time he led the Eagles to the CAC regular season title as a senior, he played in more games than any other player in program history. A point guard's impact goes well beyond simple individual statistics, but Evan's numbers are among the best in NCAA Division III history. To this day, he ranks first in school history in both assists with 652 and steals with 211, and still ranks in the top 30 in NCAA Division III history in assists. And I guess, should be noted, finished his career with 31 more career assists than his point guard head coach. We won't bring up points. A 2-year captain, he gained all-region, all-state, and first-team all-CAC honors in 2003 and 2004. And in his senior season, he was a finalist for the Bob Cousy Award, given to the top point guard in the nation. And I had to bring this game up at some point. He also had 12 assists in 2003 in Mary Washington's first ever win over a Division I opponent at VMI. I'd like to share this now from Coach Wood if I can get through it. Evan was the quintessential point guard. Pass first, pass second, pass third, shoot last. Never turn the ball over, play great defense, high assist to turnover ratio, lead the team. That was Evan in a nutshell, and he did it better. He did that better than everyone else in our conference for 4 years. Evan was a good shooter, but he would not shoot the ball. Finally, his senior year, I told him he had to shoot the ball 8 to 10 times a game. He didn't have to make them, just shoot them. It was going to make him and us better if he would just shoot the ball a few times a game. Only time in my coaching career I had to tell a player to shoot. Evan was the most important member of our team, the general who made everything go. The most terrifying 2 to 3 minutes for me over his 4 years on the team was the CAC championship game at Catholic. Evan got into foul trouble early and picked up his 4th foul with more than 5 minutes to go in the game. Every second he was sitting in my chair, he had to be right next to me so I could tell him to get in now, was an eternity. When the game hit the 2-minute mark, I told him to play as if he had 0 fouls and get in now. Never so relieved in my life. Evan was always the most important player, MIP. I always felt I could win without other players, but not without him. It's my pleasure to present the newest member of the UMW Athletic Hall of Fame from the men's basketball team, number 14, Evan Fowler.
Thank you, guys. Coach Wood said to keep this short and sweet, so that's what I'm going to do. Tonight proves if you talk about your accomplishments long enough, eventually someone will believe in you. All kidding aside. I just want to thank some people. First and foremost, I want to thank my wife. She never saw me play basketball, but she's heard all about Catholic and VMI, and thank you, I love you. I want to thank my mom and dad. Funny story about my dad. When I was 12 years old, I beat him in basketball. He was never my coach, but he was at every game. He came to every one of my D3 games, and it meant the world to me, Dad. Thank you. I'm going to make this quick. My mother and my father had my sister when they were 40 years old. And 3 days after she was born, she was at my first scrimmage in basketball as a freshman, and she was there as much as she could. Most of the time she was in the hallway because my little sister was running around. But thank you, Mom. I love you. I want to thank my teammates, especially Dan and Clint, and Chris and Brett. I have you written all down. Trig, you were my roommate for 2 years. We used to get up at 5 a.m. and eat cheese strings and protein shakes. You're the best shooter. Paul Stotter's not here, but he was a senior when I was a freshman, and he showed me the ropes. He meant the world to me. A couple other people I just want to thank. Delonte, John Hurd, except for that last game, John. He's not here. I also want to thank my other family members that are here, Aunt Donna, Uncle Jim. I want to thank my sister, Lauren. There's a picture of her up here. She's the most competitive person I know, but I love you, Lauren. Barron, thank you for being here. That's about it. This means the world. Thank you, guys.
All right, next up. Our next inductee is the gold standard. Number 1, Catherine Kennedy McCargue still ranks as the all-time leading scorer in UMW women's lacrosse history. Okay, I know where my target audience is now. In both points with 387 and goals with 299. The first team sport athlete in any sport at Mary Washington to achieve All-America honors all 4 years of her career. Let that settle in. Catherine started her career as the 2009 CAC Rookie of the Year and closed it as the CAC Player of the Year and finalist for the Tuaraton Trophy, awarded to the top player in the nation. A 4-time first-team all-conference selection, she ranks first in CAC history in goals and led UMW to the NCAA Tournament in all 4 of her seasons. To prove her all-around excellence, she also surpassed 100 ground balls and 100 draw controls in her career. And she would have most certainly surpassed 100 career assists, but for 2 problems. 1, you can't assist your own goals. And 2 was the other half of the greatest scoring combo in program history, someone I'm sure you'll be hearing about more about from Kat, 3-time All-American and all-time program assist leader, Allie Kimmelman. I asked Kat's coach, noted beachcomber and Hall of Famer Dana Hall, who's with us this evening, about Catherine's impact. I've thought about this induction for quite a while now, and she shared those thoughts many times, I might add. What do you say about the best player that ever represented Mary Washington in a lacrosse uniform? I know Clint is going to talk about her statistics, but Catherine is the only 4-time team sport All-American from a program that was ranked in the top 10 to 15 in the nation throughout her career. That's a reflection of the quality of her teammates on the team. One player doesn't make a team successful. It takes every one of them to push each other to failure so that they can learn and improve. I'm so proud of those team members. And when I was out recruiting on the recruiting trail in search of young Eagles, I was known to look for tall players. You see, skill can be acquired through practice. Developing both hands up could be developed with repetition and hours on the wall. But you can't get height unless they have it in their DNA. I saw Catherine's competitive spirit at a tournament on a hot, sweltering July weekend, and I was impressed that she cut hard to goal, and she always re-engaged against her opponent if her team lost the ball. What sold me pursuing Kat was getting to know her family throughout the process. Her parents understood the college recruiting process since Dad, George, was the head swimming coach at Johns Hopkins University. It was a match from the get-go. Lastly, Catherine was a great person, humble, supportive, and a great role model for younger players to look up to. She was a leader on and off the field, and I am so proud of the woman she has become. Please welcome to the podium the star of UMW women's lacrosse's social media sensation lip sync of Call Me Maybe, our newest Hall of Famer from the women's lacrosse program, number 24, Catherine Kennedy. This is crazy. Let's take a picture. You don't want to read my stuff, do you? Okay.
Thank you for that introduction, Clint. What some people might not know is that long before AI and ChatGPT, there were real humans behind the scenes capturing every moment of our UMW lacrosse games. Clint was the main guy behind the lens, always there, camera in hand, rain or shine. Thank you, Clint, for being such a loyal fan and for taking the time to film our games and take our stats. Your dedication means that those memories have been preserved, archived, and even burned to DVDs, so we can relive them for years to come. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. It's an incredible honor to stand before you and be inducted into the University of Mary Washington Hall of Fame. I'm humbled, grateful, and honestly a little overwhelmed. I haven't been this nervous since my wedding day. For as long as I can remember, I've lived what most would call an ordinary life. I grew up in an ordinary house with a loving and ordinary family. My mom, a physical therapist, my dad, a college swim coach, and my younger sister, Sarah, who's 3 years behind me. I went to school and got ordinary grades, very average grades, as my dad would say. I played a mix of sports growing up, but I was never the standout. For years, I longed to be extraordinary at something, to shine in a way that felt undeniable, but it always just seemed out of reach. Nothing came easily to me. And when I gave something my all, it never felt like enough. I've always been and probably always will be my own worst enemy. It wasn't until my sophomore year of high school that my lacrosse coach, Leslie Hubeck, saw something in me that was more than ordinary and encouraged me to try out for a local Baltimore club lacrosse team. This began my career as a college-bound lacrosse player. Then, during the spring of my junior year of high school, UMW coaches Dana Hall and Caitlin Moore showed up to one of my high school lacrosse games. I still remember what Coach Hall said to me after my game. "You played well, but you need to put your stick in your left hand more. We'll work on that once you're on my team." It was at that moment that I started to believe that other people saw something in me that I had yet to see in myself. They believed I was extraordinary, even though I doubted myself and my lacrosse playing abilities on a daily basis. If you work hard enough, put the hours in, and truly commit yourself to excellence, the rest will follow. Every hardship I've ever faced, I've been able to use those tools I've learned on the lacrosse field. Resilience, purpose, failure, hope, just to list a few. 4 years of college went by in the blink of an eye, and I wouldn't have made it through without the unwavering support of my parents, coaches, professors, and mentor teachers. Looking back now as an adult myself, I can clearly see the sacrifices that those individuals made for me. Sacrifices I didn't fully appreciate at the time, caught up as I was in the self-centered whirlwind of college life. Fast forward 10 years after my college graduation and 9 years of my career as an elementary school teacher, my husband Dylan and I were expecting our first child. We were nervous but excited to start this new chapter. A month after our daughter Peyton was born, we took her in for a routine checkup at her pediatrician's office. During the visit, her pediatrician, who was calm but clearly concerned, noted that Peyton's head had grown unusually fast since her last appointment. She gently urged us to take Peyton to the nearby children's hospital for further evaluation. Once we arrived at the hospital, our worst fears were confirmed by the neurologist. Peyton's brain was swelling. She would need emergency brain surgery the very next morning to relieve the pressure and to save her life. At that moment, I wished for nothing more than to be ordinary. I couldn't have cared less about the extra tacked onto that word. All I wanted was an ordinary life with an ordinary, healthy child. The true icing on the cake, however, came when I asked what limitations Peyton might face in the future. The nurse smiled and said, with a successful surgery and her shunt in place, she'll live a long, healthy life. Her only real limitation is that she probably won't be able to play any contact sports, like lacrosse. At that moment, I couldn't help but feel the irony. This nurse, unaware of my background, had just told me that my daughter would never pick up a lacrosse stick, ever. What she didn't know was that lacrosse was the first love of my life. If you're a parent, especially a former athlete, you might understand the quiet hope that I carried, that Peyton would one day follow in my footsteps and fall in love with the game the way that I did. Growing up, I didn't dream about my future husband or wedding. Sorry, Dylan. I dreamt of the lacrosse field. Peyton's surgery was a success, and today she's a healthy, smart, and sassy 2.5-year-old. She's running around with that little ball gown over there. I've leaned heavily on the tools that lacrosse gave me to get through the hardest months of my life. Resilience, purpose, the ability to face failure, and the strength to hold on to hope. These are the tools I hope Peyton will one day carry with her, maybe even on a sports team of her own. Right now, she's in her second season of Little Kickers, my future soccer player. To my friend, former colleague, and fellow UMW Hall of Famer, Dave Loston, who's here tonight, I know you're proud. So here's the thing. Most of the time, I forget that my daughter even has any limitations. She's just my ordinary, healthy, spirited daughter. My husband and I have ordinary jobs. We live in an ordinary house. And never again will we underestimate the quiet, extraordinary power of being ordinary. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for this nomination and such a beautiful celebration. Thank you to my teammates, friends, and family who are here tonight. Thank you to my coaches, Coach Hall and Coach Moore, for seeing the true potential as a student athlete during my time at UMW. Thank you to my teammates for believing in me and the dreams we chased together. UMW Athletics and the UMW College of Education have shaped me into the person I am today, and for that, I will be forever grateful. A huge thank you to my in-laws, Tina McHarg and Bud Smith, for being just a short 10-minute drive away. Your countless commissary runs, unwavering support, and the fierce, unconditional love you show Peyton mean the world to me. I'm so grateful for everything you do and for being such an incredible part of my life. Thank you for treating me like a daughter. To my sister, Sarah, thank you for always being my #1 fan. That was clear even back in high school when you'd show up to my games with your homework on a clipboard. I'm still convinced you were secretly keeping my stats. Clint would be proud. You radiate sunshine. I would choose you over and over again in every lifetime. Thank you for being my secret keeper and my safe space. I love you. Shout out to my mom, Helen, whose birthday we also celebrate today. From day one, you've been one of my biggest supporters. You raised me to be strong, resilient, and unafraid to chase my dreams. Whenever I need advice or even just someone to listen, you're the first person I call. Your love, encouragement, and unwavering faith in me have shaped me who I am today. Watching you and Dad become grandparents has been the greatest joy of my life. To my very first coach, the man I've looked up to since I could walk, my dad, George Kennedy. Thank you for always pushing me to be the best version of myself. The memories of growing up at Hopkins, the countless lacrosse games and swim meets, the spring fair, and treats from the vending machine and school caf will forever hold a place in my heart. To my husband, Dylan, thank you for being the most incredible partner and the best dad to our extraordinary daughter. I'd also choose you over and over again in every lifetime. Who says your sister and your husband can't both be your soulmates? A big congratulations to the other Hall of Fame inductees. Thank you for making ordinary look so good. And to my daughter, Peyton, who has already endured more than most in just 2.5 years. Thank you for showing me what true strength looks like. I love you the mostest. Thank you.
Hey, Grandma Kennedy, here's a birthday present for you.
Keep going. Woo!
Oh, God. Does anyone else know why this is my favorite day of work every year? Our next inductee hails from the women's tennis team from the class of 2009, Becky Morse-Karzen. Woo! Becky's been one of the top UMW women's tennis players of this century, playing 4 years of #1 singles and ranking in the top 10 in school history in doubles wins and overall wins. She gained All-America honors in doubles as a sophomore, junior, and senior, and in singles as a junior and senior. She ranked as the 6th ranked player in the nation her senior year. She was the 2008-2009 UMW Female Scholar Athlete of the Year and led UMW to the NCAA quarterfinals in 2008 as the Eagles finished with a 23-4 record. In fact, in her 4-year career, the Eagles advanced to 4 NCAA championships, winning 4 conference titles and finished with a 78-24 record, placing in the top 10 twice in postseason team rankings and twice more in the top 20. Excuse me. What's more, she's continued to excel on the national level beyond graduation, as she's been ranked #1 in the nation in various open and senior divisions throughout the years. As she was throughout her career at UMW, she is just a winner. I asked her coach and our current athletic director at UMW, Patrick Catullo, for memories of Becky. Becky Morse-Karzen is the epitome of a Mary Washington student athlete, a high-achieving student, a talented athlete, a tenacious fighter on the court, and a kind-hearted person with compassion for those around her. She always cared deeply for her teammates, going above and beyond as team captain and role model, leading by example in everything she did. Reflecting on her career, Becky was one of the first players I recruited during my early years at Mary Washington, a time when I was still learning about the program's needs and how to build a strong team. I distinctly remember standing on the dirt floor of what would soon become the University Tennis Center, talking with Becky and her father about taking a chance on Mary Washington. After that visit, I wasn't sure where she would end up, but I knew without a doubt that she was destined for greatness. Her passion for tennis and curiosity about the game were evident from the start, and it was clear she was seeking a university that could challenge her both academically and athletically. I feel incredibly fortunate that she chose to become an Eagle. Not only did she become a nationally ranked player in both singles and doubles, but she also helped shape a national caliber team and played a pivotal role in the success of the recruiting classes that followed. Becky, I will always be grateful for your impact you've had, and for allowing me to be a small part of your journey. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor. Your legacy will continue to inspire. At this time, please join me in wiping away my tears and welcoming to the stage the newest member of the UMW Athletic Hall of Fame from the women's tennis program, Becky Morse-Karzen. Want to trade? You definitely don't want to read that again. Let's take a picture.
Thank you, Clint. All right, I have to compose myself. Sorry. Okay, hi, I'm Becky. This is Bennett. He just woke up from a nap, so he's going to be my +1 for when I give my very short and very sweet speech, hopefully. First, congratulations to all the other inductees. Your careers are amazing. You should all be very, very proud. Second, I want to thank probably my tennis coach for letting me take a chance, Patrick Catullo. Even though here's my one funny story. I came into college not wanting to play singles. I had no intention of doing so. I was perfectly happy just playing doubles. Unfortunately, my freshman year, he told me that, well, if you want to play doubles, you have to play singles. So after talking with Art, my other tennis coach, about maybe I whined a little bit too, and calling my dad, who was also my coach, they both said, you know what, maybe you should give it a try. It might not be too bad. Well, turns out I kind of liked it, and I got a little good at it, so thank you for that. I also want to thank my parents for supporting me, my dad for letting me play tennis at my own pace, never pushing me, my mom for recording, as she is now, all of my tennis careers, the good and the bad, my brother for making my tennis video that actually, I guess, got Patrick and Art to take a look at me, and for always encouraging me to attempt to lob him and, keep trying. Hasn't worked yet. To my two younger sisters who were always dragged along to all the tennis matches and the flyouts that they would come here to support me with, thank you. And then I should probably thank my husband, who's over there playing catch with my 5-year-old right now, for coming out and supporting me and always telling me, you've got this, keep going, keep going. Tennis has been a part of my life since as long as I can remember, and it's been an honor to, it's been an honor to play for Mary Wash, and just a great experience. So congratulations again to all the inductees. Thank you to Patrick and Art, my family, my husband, my kids who prefer pickleball now, but hey, you know what? It's a racket sport. I'm all for it. And thank you to the committee for nominating me, and I think that's all I have. So, thanks.
I took that picture too. Anyway, I'm sure many of you who follow sports outside of these walls at Mary Washington, and you're well aware of Los Angeles Dodgers great Shohei Ohtani, who's one of the great elite pitchers and hitters in Major League Baseball. Or if football's your game, first-round draft pick, Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter, who excels on both offense and defense. Those of you of a certain age will remember multi-sport standouts like Bo Jackson. Well, folks, I'm here to tell you that those great athletes have nothing on our next inductee. Evan Stiles was a standout at Mary Washington. I can refer to it as MWC now. I can put on my MWC hat because I was here. In not one, not two, not 3 sports, but 4. He was the top player for 4 years on the water polo team, serving as team captain for all 4 years and leading the team in scoring 3 times. A 3-time All-State selection, he holds school records for most goals in a season and career, as well as most man-up goals in a season and career. At the same time, Evan was an elite swimmer for the Eagles, graduating with school records in 11 different events, including 5 individual events in the butterfly, freestyle, and IM. He was an all-conference performer 3 years, as well as a 3-year team captain. He was a 3-year letter winner for the baseball team, gaining all-conference honors, and holds the distinction of performing as the winning pitcher in MWC Baseball's first ever win in program history, which is pretty cool. He allowed 4 hits in 7 innings, he tells me, in the game, and he tells me he still has the game ball. Now, I did see a water polo ball, too. And yes, he also gained a letter his senior year as a member of the men's tennis team. In all, he gained varsity letters in 4 different sports and gained 12 varsity letters in all. Neither of those numbers have ever been even remotely approached in the past 34 years. I asked his swimming and water polo coach, Paul Richards, who's with us tonight, coach, about Evan's impact. Evan was a great athlete. He was an excellent swimmer and held many Mary Washington school records. He also won many championships in both the Atlantic States Swimming and the Capital Conference Swimming Championships. Evan was also a great left-handed pitcher for the baseball team. And when you combine those 2 skill sets, you get a very good water polo player. Somehow, Evan even found time to be on the tennis team. But Evan was much more than an athlete. He was an inspirational and motivational team leader on all of his teams. And I think that might be reflected in the number of his former teammates who are back with us tonight. All the guys back there, fellas. All over. You're everywhere. Evan had a work ethic that was second to none, and his teammates followed his lead. And he was a fierce competitor. It was always fun to watch him race, and you knew what Evan would give you when he got up on the block. 100% every single time. And Evan was a true and loyal friend to all. Evan and his teammates were the foundation of what Mary Washington men's swimming has become. When we first started back in the 80s, we were a small team. We grew into a dynasty in the Capital Athletic Conference because of the dedication of those swimmers from the past. Evan's professional life covered all talent levels of swimmers, from young beginning swimmers to Olympic gold medalists and world champions. It was a privilege and an honor for me to have the opportunity to be Evan's coach at Mary Washington. Oh yeah, by the way, today the spotlight is rightfully on Evan and his accomplishments here. But I should mention now that for more than 20 years after graduation, Evan has been deeply involved on the national swimming on a professional level, and most recently has served as the coach of reigning Olympic gold medalist and American and world record holder, Tori Husk. Wow. Okay, I think we talked about all the sports. Okay. It's now my pleasure to welcome the newest member of the UMW Athletic Hall of Fame, someone without whom there shouldn't be a Hall of Fame. From all the teams, class of 1991, Evan Stiles. I can't do that, brother. I saw that.
All right, so I'll start by saying thanks to Clint. He texted me earlier and he wanted to make a couple jokes that he didn't make, actually, about my procrastinating friends that didn't sign up in time for this thing. But obviously the biggest joke was making the old guy who's waited the longest go last. So, anyway. I'm going to start by saying thank yous. First of all, to Mary Washington and Clint, the Academy, for this amazing recognition. It's been an honor to have known about this for the last few months. It's been something that I've always thought about, but I never really knew if it was going to happen. I'd really like to thank my teammates. Like Clint said, there are a ton of you here. Go ahead, give it up. Let's go. No matter what sport it was, you pushed me, you challenged me, you made me better. But most of all, thank you for just making being a part of that team a blast. It was fun. I think all of us up here, we enjoyed what we did. And having fun is a huge part of that. To my family over here, my parents, my wife, and my daughter, thank you for all the sacrifices that you made, your love and support through the years, through the many, many years. Before I forget, and George, I know you know this, being a swim coach, there's a lot of sacrifices your family has to make, weekends, early mornings, all that stuff. Most people as swimmers, they kind of give it up after they're done swimming, and then the crazy ones keep going as coaches. So I've been doing some crazy schedules for a long time. I'm 32 years into this now, so I know the sacrifices they've had to make for that, and I appreciate it. But I also I didn't want to forget Amy. I'm not even sure we had a record board when I swam here. So you had an upgrade. And Catherine, I actually had a conversation with Abby Breathauer, and she was so excited for you. So I just wanted to let you know that. So she appreciated you helping her out. And George, I actually had a swimmer swim for you at Johns Hopkins a while back, Molly Merkel. So I don't know if you remember or not. I won't tell her if you don't. So mainly I want to thank my coaches. I'm going to kind of go in a weird order here. I want to start with Coach Gordon. He was the one coach that I guess coached me the least. That's not a bad thing. It's just I played 1 year of tennis my senior year. I was lucky enough to have a class that he taught, and my roommate, Declan over here, happened to be the number one player on the team at the time. He encouraged me to try out for the team. Talked to Roy, said, hey, can I try out? He said, yeah, bring it on, let's go. Declan and I had been hitting around for a while, so he was like, I think you can make the team. So I tried out and I made the team, and had a great time moving my way up the ranks. So anyway, that was my tennis experience. To Coach Tom Sheridan, who was the baseball coach, I wanted to thank him for giving me the opportunity to pitch in the team's 5th game of its existence. I hadn't pitched up to that point, but I'm proud that I was able to pitch well enough that day to get the team its first ever victory, which is pretty cool. And I do still have the ball. I didn't bring it. It's like a baseball, everyone's. So anyway, thanks to Coach Sheridan for allowing me that opportunity. Mainly, though, I want to thank Coach Richards. I want to thank you for being an amazing person. You were way more than just a coach to me. You taught me many things, but you also helped me through things that didn't have anything to do with swimming or water polo. But I do want to point out that having you as the coach, the successful run of championships that continues to this day, Justin is keeping that rolling. Let's go, Justin. But it started with you, and it started with our teams, all these guys that are sitting up here and all you guys back there. You guys were the foundation of where we are right now, and that's a long time. That's 35 years. So anyway, it's amazing. Thank you, Coach. Water polo was an amazing sport. I think most of us swimmers that started to play water polo when we got here, we'd never played before. There were only a couple of us. We all kind of liked it better than swimming. But Coach figured out a way to make water polo practice into swim practice most of the time. We were like, hey, are we going to play? He was like, well, you're not very good at water polo, so you might as well learn how to swim better. But anyway, I wanted to thank you for teaching us the game, because he played water polo. He knew what it was all about. We played the game. We loved the game. So all these guys up here were also water polo players too. But mainly you saw something in me. You told me that you thought I would make a great swim coach. Just so you know, I was a geography major here. I thought I was going to go to grad school and be an urban planner. He came up and said, hey, there's this place. I think you could be a great swim coach, and you can get a master's degree in sport coaching. So, of course, I took his advice, and I went to the United States Sports Academy in Daphne, Alabama, and got a master's degree in sport coaching. I thought I wanted to be a college coach, because what I really wanted to do is I wanted to be able to do for others what he had done for me and for all of our teammates. But my path took me in a different direction. I started coaching age group swimming, and mostly high school age kids. So anyway, I wanted to thank you for continuing to be a mentor as I entered into the coaching profession. And he's even come down and been a guest coach at some of my practices. So, as Clint mentioned, I've been coaching for the same team for the past 32 years, the Arlington Aquatic Club up in Arlington, Virginia. And I've had the opportunity to coach a very talented young swimmer, Tori Husk. I coached her for 4 years and helped her make her first Olympic team at the 2021 Olympics, where she set the American record in the 100 fly. She then went off to Stanford, and she's still continuing to kick ass. I know he said but we're a bunch of athletes here. She's doing amazing. She qualified and swam at the 2024 Paris Olympics, had an amazing meet, 3 gold medals, 2 silver medals, 2 world records. So I've had the opportunity I still work with her when I see her at home, and we still talk on the phone and text a lot. So anyway, those are my thank yous. My freshman year, we had a shirt, and there's a picture of it over there, actually. It said, "Go hard or go home." And that was a mentality that I took to heart. It was about showing up, it was about pushing limits, and it was giving everything you had, challenging yourself daily to improve. And the phrase was not a suggestion, it was a directive. So that phrase became kind of a philosophy for me, and in college, especially on Saturday nights. But some other nights too, but but it's also the same mentality that I have as a coach, and I try to pass down to all my swimmers. So as I reflect back on all of this, which I've had a lot of time to do, one word kind of rises above all the rest, and that's opportunity. Mary Washington gave me the opportunity to represent this school in swimming, water polo, baseball, and tennis. It gave me the opportunity to get a great education. It gave me the opportunity to meet some very amazing people that I still call my friends. It, as I call it, and Clint referred to it, MWC, gave me the opportunity to stay busy, excel to be the best of my abilities in every sport, in every season throughout 4 years. And it gave me the opportunity to make an impactful contribution to the sports I played, and to have great teammates and coaches in every sport. So at Mary Washington, opportunity was everywhere for those who were willing to work for it. So for all the amazing athletes being recognized today, we all took advantage of opportunities when they arose, and we made the most of those opportunities. So congratulations to the University of Mary Washington Hall of Fame class of 2025. Get dirty.
All right, one more to go. I would like at this time the guys from the 2013-14 team to come on up front. The stage is a little small, but if you guys would line up here in front here so I can smack you if you don't listen, that'd be great. Coaches, Coach Wood, Coach Darley. You guys protect me in case they start throwing stuff. That'd be great. All right, our final inductees of the evening rank as one of the greatest and most memorable teams in any sport in school history. The 2013-14 UMW men's basketball team advanced further than any team in program history, finishing with a 25-6 record, winning the CAC championship, and advanced to the NCAA Tournament quarterfinals or Elite Eight. That's right. The team broke the school record for wins in a season that still stands, with 25, breaking the mark of the 2002-03 team. The Eagles raced to an 18-2 start with only a pair of one-point losses on the road at nationally ranked Hampton-Sydney and Wesley. Included in that run were back-to-back wins over top 10 ranked St. Mary's on a late three-pointer from Bradley Reister, and a double overtime win over 5th-ranked Virginia Wesleyan College. The 2 top 10 wins were the first in program history. After hitting a bump in the road with 3 straight conference losses against nationally ranked CNU and Wesley, and another against Salisbury, the Eagles righted the ship with a pair of wins to close the regular season. UMW then topped St. Mary's 70-65 in the CAC semifinals before beating Christopher Newport 65-48 in the CAC championship, the second in school history. Oh, the fun was just starting. Just wait. From there, the Eagles advanced to the NCAA Tournament first weekend at Randolph-Macon, Coach Wood's alma mater, by the way, and defeated Springfield College 78-58 in the first round before showcasing one of the greatest defensive performances ever seen in a 77-49 second-round win over DeSales University, in which the Bulldogs went more than 10 minutes without scoring a point as the Eagles built a 38-15 halftime advantage. Yeah. Next up was the sectionals, hosted at the then brand new Anderson Center, and UMW won the rematch with Virginia Wesleyan, this time in regulation, 74-70. The Eagles lost to eventual finalist Williams College and future NBA standout Duncan Robinson one game of the Final Four. And it might be noted, he wasn't even their best player. Dude, those guys were nasty. Anyway, before I give the mic to Stiles, I know I just spoke of the greatness of this team. Now I'd like to speak about why this team is so special. Oh, God. I haven't even gotten to Rod's words yet. These guys mean a lot to me. Sorry. Playing in an era of the Capital Athletic Conference in which 6 teams in an 18-year stretch advanced to at least the Elite Eight of the NCAA Tournament. And that doesn't even include Christopher Newport and Wesley, who did so in other leagues before joining the CAC. Every single game was a war and a must-see event. Because every team was great, but even more so, every team hated each other. Oh, it was so much fun. So when we beat any of them, it was so much fun. But when we beat them all, that was epic. And that was what these guys did. With only 2 players in the regular rotation taller than 6'3", this team was one of the most intense and scary defensively of any in program history. Offensively, Bradley Reister was one of the top 3-point shooters in the nation, and Dylan Farinet became the single-game scoring record holder with 42 points in a win over Penn State Harrisburg. And they had to yell at him to shoot. He wouldn't shoot at the end of the game. We're like, dude, what are you doing? Shoot. It was like Evan all over again. Anyway, from Coach Wood, most fun I ever had coaching. This team was closer to who I was as a player and how I wanted to play. After 17 years, I felt our team reflected who I wanted us to be and had the talent level across the board that could compete with anyone in the country. As the year went on, I used to call us the team of misfit toys after the holiday classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and the Island of Misfit Toys. Most of the players were made up of someone else's unwanted, including myself. Not tall enough, not quick enough, not strong enough, or just not good enough. That chip we all carried made us play angry, and no one could play better together. No one could play harder together. No one could fight harder together. It was, without a doubt, the best team in the nation, and we got after it. These guys allowed me to coach. They followed game plans meticulously. They didn't care who got the credit. One guy 40 points one night, another one 42 the next night, and so on. I thank these guys from the bottom of my heart to allow me to be a part of this special thing. I felt as if I was on the court with them, and sometimes it probably looked that way as I ran up and down the sidelines yelling, playing defense, generally just living vicariously through them. You always had my back, and I will always have yours. Stiles, get up here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, you should. I'm Marcellus Holly. I was one of the captains of the 2013-2014 men's basketball team. I'm honored to represent my team up here and tell you more about our record-breaking season and what made it so special. It's a story of a group of guys who were overlooked and undersized, but came together and did something no one thought was possible. I'd like to give you some context about that year so you know what our expectations were going into that season. They were low. They were very low, very low. Internally here at UMW and externally, we were ranked 6th out of 10 teams in the preseason rankings. No one outside of the guys on our roster believed that we were any good. I don't blame them though. We finished the previous season 15-14, and looking at our team, you would have never guessed we would finish ranked in the top 10 in the nation. As mentioned, our starting center, Dylan, was 6'3" on a good day. And our top scorer, Bradley Reister, was frequently mistaken as a tennis player, a golfer, a soccer player, basically anything but basketball. We didn't look intimidating as a unit, is what I'm trying to say. Which is a reason why Coach Wood called us the Island of Misfit Toys. We were a group of guys who were counted out, but we bought into the system and trusted the process. Inside of our rings is engraved, "Play angry." We may not have looked the part, but you did not want to play us. We actually practiced harder than we played. So much so that Coach had to cut practices early because of how hard we went to prevent us from hurting each other. We were a senior-led squad that knew this was our last ride. We were determined to make it unforgettable. But it wasn't just our last ride. At the beginning of the season, we learned it would be Coach Rod Wood's last season too. We knew we had to make it special. Now, Coach Wood was without a question the best basketball mind I've ever played for. For those on the outside, I know he looked crazy at games. My favorite move was when he would be crouched down, and the ref would make a bad call, or Brad would take a crazy shot, and in one fell swoop, he would stand up, do a 360, take his jacket off, throw it, and yell at somebody, anyone in the vicinity. But that was our coach, and like he said, we took his identity. He was passionate, he cared for his players, and wanted to win. Coach, thank you for your leadership, the lessons on and off the court, and for getting the best out of us. We appreciate you. Absolutely. That year, we won the CAC championship against CNU, and we set the school record for wins with 25. We became the first team in program history to win the NCAA Tournament game, and we didn't stop there. We made it all the way to the Elite Eight, and we hosted the Sweet 16 and Elite Eight here at the Anderson Center. The energy at those games, for any who were at those games, were electric. We remember the campus, we remember the city, and those times we'll never forget. And we did break a couple records that season. The single game record for most three-pointers made, 23 against Southern Virginia. We also broke the record for most three-pointers attempted that game with 51. That's unheard of. So to give you guys context, I looked this up, me and ChatGPT, we did this together. The average three-point attempts in NCAA that year was 18. Again, we shot 51. That same night, we also set the record for most steals in a game with 19. And if you're thinking those are just one-night wonders, think again. That season, we scored 2,315 points, a program record. We attempted a casual 881 three-pointers. We were ahead of our time, guys. We were shooters. We were shooters. We also set records for free throw attempts with 684, defensive rebounds, 743, and assists with 470. Now, it wouldn't be right to not highlight a couple of individual achievements that season. My man Bradley Reister not only joined the exclusive 1,000-point club that year, but also earned All-American honors. Let's give it up to my man. Where's Brad at? There he is. Brad is by far the best shooter I've ever played with or against. If he could see the rim, I would bet it was going in. Let's not forget Dylan Farinay casually dropping 42 points against Penn State Harrisburg. Fun fact about that game, we were up by 30 in the second half. Dylan did not need to be playing. He should not have been in the game. But if there was ever a chance that a record could get broken, Coach wanted to break it. Not for him, for us, and for the team. So he kept our core guys into the game, and just to replay that last play, we were, again, up by 30. Dylan was like 1 point away from 42. I should have dribbled it out and let time go out. I didn't. Dylan's at the half court. I kick it out to him. He shoots basically a half court shot. We're up by 30. Again, it's disrespectful. Makes it. We all celebrate on the court as if he won the game with that shot. Fast forward when we played Penn State Harrisburg again, they fouled him 8 times in the first 2 minutes. They were beating him up. Look, that season bonded us for life. Our off-the-court chemistry translated to on-the-court success. It was about proving something to ourselves and to every single person who ever counted us out. We wrote our names in UMW history that year. A lesson from Coach Wood that I carry with me every day is words and deeds. Your words mean nothing without action to back them up. We said we wanted to be great, but our actions had to align with our words. What you say and what you do should never be two different things. You got to walk it like you talk it, and we did that. So tonight, as we're officially immortalized into the UMW Hall of Fame, I want to say thank you to Coach Wood and our coaching staff who demanded our best every single day, to our families who stood by us, to our supporters who cheered for us like family, and lastly, most importantly, to my brothers. Thank you for trusting the process, embracing your roles, and creating a season that will be remembered forever. In the wise words of Drake, we started from the bottom, now we're here. Thank you.
Okay, I have some awards for you guys, so don't scurry too far over here. We'll get those to each of you. Maybe Coach can help with that. Wow, another one. These things just keep getting better every year, don't they? I just want to thank all of you for coming to this great event. Thanks to Patrick Catullo for letting me out of my cage for the one day a year I get to come do this. That was fantastic. And thanks to all of you. I mean, you see how much this place means to everybody who comes here. It's just an amazing place. And, you know, people ask me all the time, they say, you know, how do you feel that, you know, what's your favorite day? This is my favorite day, but it's not because I get to see all of you. It's because I get to see all of you see each other. And it's just amazing. So thank you for coming. And please continue to support UMW and the athletic department. And love you guys. Take care. Also, I have Catherine's plaque here. I'm going to put it on eBay and start it at about $150.